All right, well, happy Monday to you all. Hope you're doing well. Today's Monday, March 8th. I'm your host for this video, Doug Mount. Glad you could join in and catch an update on the different custom 164s that I am working. Of course, NASCAR. I pretty much only do NASCAR. I've done a couple other crazy things, propane trucks in the past, but right now it is exclusively NASCAR. Congratulations to Kyle Larson, won the race yesterday in Vegas. Relatively dominant car, to be honest with you. I know he didn't lead every lap, but he was cruising there at the end without a whole lot of competition on that last stage 3 there. All right, I'm working a number of different vehicles, different things as I typically do. Another Trump truck I am working. This time I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm painting the lower valence here silver before I put this piece on. So this will go across here like so, and it'll be silver down there. Typically I just left it white. I've done this truck I think twice before, and and it's, you know, it's relatively easy, to be honest with you. You know, taking the car apart, truck apart, you know, is standard. Detailing the interior is pretty standard. The only thing that probably bothers me the most on this is this fuel door and the decal set. As you can see, I can't, it's integrated together. I've said this many times, and I can't separate the side tail light from that, and I have to put that over the fuel door or it looks really dumb. And so then I have that gap there, which, you know, is unfortunate. The other tricky thing, well, that's the one thing I don't like. The other tricky thing is just working these decals around the spoiler, getting them positioned so that I can lift them up over the edge. When you start doing this, or if you're doing these, you find out relatively quickly that the decals don't fully cover, that come with the decal sets, don't fully cover the spoiler. So they might do the back and the front, but the sides and the top, this edge here, there's not enough decal to cover it. So what I have to do is just kind of raise it a little bit off of the bottom so that I have enough on the top to kind of fold it over. And so, you know, it works. It just looks a little odd. So whatever. You know, it is what it is. You do the best that you can with the decals that you have. So that is that. Working that. Here's this 2015 PPG that I was showing you guys in the last video, how I had put this hood decal on. I put 3 coats of clear sealer on it, and then I just used the Rust-Oleum Satin Oasis Blue to pre-paint these areas. And it actually went a lot easier than what normally happens. And so what I did was I just, you know, shook up the spray can. I sprayed it into my paper plate here. This is all dry now, but I just sprayed a little bit into that paper plate. I have these little applicators that are like mascara or whatever, eyeliner applicators that I got off of Amazon. I showed in previous videos, and I just, you know, I just got this wet with the paint, and and I went over, you know, I went over these areas ever so slightly. And, you know, so again, it's not a perfect match, but I've covered the areas that I need to cover. So when I put this on, you know, it'll look like that. So that's pretty good to me. It's kind of a matte finish, satin finish is what it's called, but I'll put some sealer on it and it'll gloss it up, and of course when I get the decals on, and it'll look better. Inevitably, there's a little bit of gap here because, so here's my theory on the decals, right? Sure, they are designs that are used for, you know, iRacing, e-racing, whatever. But they don't take into account the different curvatures of the die-cast metal body. So I've done slot cars before, and slot cars are relatively flat. There might be a little bit of indentation, but on the die-cast body there seems to be more. And so whenever you have that indentation, especially around these headlights, right? And a little bit maybe on this grill here, but the headlights, where the fog lights might go, you have that indentation, and the decals are not enough to fully, go in there and then come back out and just cover that area. So you either are left with, not pressing it down, and you kind of have like a little bit of an air gap behind the decal and between the die-cast body and the decal, or you have to pre-paint it. And so that's what I've done, right around the headlight on the bottom, on the top, just in case. And then, like I said in the last video, right, in this tri-state area where these decals all come together here, right in this area, I've pre-painted that. So if I have any type of gap whatsoever, it'll be not white, but it'll be this Oasis blue, which is, it's not a perfect match, but it's pretty darn close, as you can see. That's a pretty good match to the decal. And I like to do it after I get this hood decal on, because I've done this before on this stinking car. And you see this big white square here. And if you pre-paint this before you put this down, I've done it, and you get your reference points are off a little bit. It's hard to know exactly where to paint it, and you get a little bit of blue into this area, and it looks dumb, right? So you need to put this down first, and then you know exactly where you need to paint it, and where you don't, which is where that's white. So a little tricky, a little tricky. And I've said this many times with this die-cast hobby is, it's kind of live and learn. I'm trying to give you guys some advice and just some tips and pointers and things that I run into on a regular basis. But each paint scheme is different. Each decal set's different. And you're going to run into little challenges with each one. And you kind of just, you just need to work through them. Practice makes perfect. So when, as they say, perfect practice makes perfect. If you just practice and you're not really improving, you're not doing well in your practice, you're not necessarily going to do well when you actually go to execute. But anyways, that's that car. I just painted it a little bit ago, letting it dry. Then I'll put a couple coats of clear sealer on it, and then I'll start putting the rest of these decals on it. So that's that. All right. I have completely finished the Kyle Larson Crest Homestead Wind. Got the spoiler painted black. I got the trunk pins dotted there, and I think I just need another coat of clear sealer, and this baby's done. So pretty happy with the way it's turned out. As I said, there's a little bit of crease there, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with the way that this is looking. So hopefully the buyer will like it too. That was a custom request from somebody on eBay. I just decaled this morning. This is the hood open version of the 2007 Dale Earnhardt Jr. Budweiser number 8. I did one for Mr. WH, and this is the hood open version. I applied a couple lessons learned. I tried to lower these as much as possible. It still overlaps a little bit, but that's that. The real struggle sometimes with these hood open cars is the decal for the hood. Does it fit on there or not? And this one fortunately fits. It's ever so close over here and up here. I basically shoved that top of that D into that corner and then finangled over here to get this as close as I can to perfect. So fortunately that works out pretty good, and that's that. Again, like I said about this spoiler, I've messed around with it a little bit, but it's really fragile. So I need to make sure that that's noted when I go to list this car. This will be an eBay car. See a fuzzy on there. If you remember, I had a little paint mess on this trunk. You can barely notice it right here in this area. You see that? You can barely notice that there's any issue with that. So, and I tried to get this decal to set in here, tucked it a little bit back in here, just to be able to get the tip of that crown folded over to try to get that nice. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. This has the, and I hate working these. Some of these cars from, you know, I guess I'll say like maybe 99 to 2007 or 2008 have the, before they went to the style of this with the green fuel door logo. I think that was maybe in like, was it 2010, 2011 time frame? But anyways, they had this little overflow area, and on the diecast body, it's basically a raised, sometimes significantly raised area, and the tail light goes over that, and it's just a pain. It's a real pain. When you guys, if you guys ever do this yourself, it's a pain in the butt to get that to conform around there. The microsole helps a lot, but you really have to work your brush or whatever, you know, your finger, to get that to conform around there and look half decent. Anyways, that was the struggle on that particular car. So, gonna let that dry, and I'll start sealing that tomorrow. I'll show you. It's the same thing on this car. You can see, look at that. Isn't that crazy? If I can get that to focus. See that right above the emazing.com? That's a pain. I despise working with those. If they weren't so pronounced, they would be fine. But it's so pronounced, it's a mess. So, and that'll be fun because, you know, this flag on this, you know, Kenseth flag car goes, you know, it's basically right there. And so it makes it look a little weird. And this, I was talking about the decal for these hood open cars not fitting, you know, case in point is that blade there, that's circular saw blade does not fit on that hood perfectly. There's overlap. And yeah, it's just a pain. That's a pain. So Mr. MH, I don't know if you watch my YouTube videos, but if you are, I'll be working that here shortly, and I won't be cussing, because I try not to do that, whether with my audible voice or with my internal small voice. Try not to swear, but I may have some other colorful language when I work that, you know. All right, so I am just about done, and you know, you guys, if you want to comment on something, give me some of your advice. Let me know about this one. So I'm just about done with this Michael McDowell gold, you know, Daytona 500 win car. So I painted this lower valence, decided to paint that black, paint the roof lines black, and the spoiler black. So that's that. Got the wheels all done. A couple more coats of clear sealer, and this thing will be ready. But give me your thoughts on this. So during the race, should I do this as is, or should I do it as like a raced version, but a gold version of the raced version? So he had damage, right? He had some silver tape applied across this area right here and back over here. So basically what I'm asking is, should I do a raced version or should I just leave it like this? I'll have to look closly at the pictures and try to, and that might be a little fun actually to try to do the silver tape and stuff like that. But you guys let me know. Do you think it would be more desirable as a collector to have a car like this that basically doesn't have any race damage on it, or something that actually has some race damage on it as a gold car? Because I was thinking as a gold car, I would just leave it as is. If I was actually going to make something that was a raced version, I would have painted it yellow like his car and tried to match his car perfectly down to the paint and rims and everything. But here I was trying to do a gold one. So I'm content either way, but would like to know your thoughts, and then I'll make a decision what to do here in the next couple days with this thing. So interestingly enough, I did not realize this on 2001. They have the driver name on the back here, but it doesn't say Cup Series on the front anymore. It actually has the manufacturer logos and the driver's name. So I guess 2020 was the only year that it said Cup Series. 18, I don't remember about 17, but 18 and 19 were Monster Energy, and then 2020 actually said Cup Series, and now they've gone to having the driver name on the front windshield and on the back windshield. I thought that was interesting. So little things that you notice when you do decals, because I was watching the race, or I was double checking that car, and then I watched the race yesterday. I'm like, I didn't realize that before. So oh well, it is what it is. Okay, let's see. I am starting to open up these cars, and I'm sorry, I will open up these cars here shortly. Now that I've got these three over here decaled again, I have to paint yellow on that. I've got to look at the pictures and do that. This will be Mr. DT's 2020 Blaney Talladega win. I'm going to need need to paint those rims yellow. There's the iRacing Chase Briscoe 2020 High Point number 98. That'll be another gold Daytona 500 win car. This particular donor car, is a Blaney, of course, but it's the Darlington rims or tires where it says Goodyear in white, and so I'll be taking those off and saving them for a Darlington car, and I'll be using these standard Goodyear tires on that one. Geico car, I am going to probably paint this black and put some coats of clear sealer on it, probably paint it primer black, or maybe the high performance enamel black, and then I'll put some coats of clear sealer on it before I actually decal it, because this is pretty much a full wrap car, which are always a challenge. I've got Mr. Ben, your Skittles in the stripper right now, along with Mr. DT's 2019 Dent Wizard. Question for you, Mr. Ben, and I can email you, but I'll just mention it here, or you can actually respond if you watch this. But I can put it in a box like this, right? The finished product. I can do it in a box, or I can put it on one of those display cases, those clear display cases that I've done in the past. So let me know. Let me know which one you want. I'll do a custom label for you and do it either way. So that was one question I had for you, and I think that's it. Of course, you'll need to send me your mailing address when I get this all done here later this week, is my hope and prayer. And then Mr. MH, that's where I'll be working your Kenseth flag car. So, all right. I have suspended these things, and maybe if you haven't seen some of my earlier videos, what the heck, my chair's stuck over here. If you haven't seen some of my earlier videos, I put the stripper in this jar. I'm trying to think where I got that jar. I don't know. I think actually it was probably like a Christmas present from years ago that had like little sticks of candy in it. I I don't know, and you know, it's a nice glass jar, and I'm like, I don't throw this away, and lo and behold, or recycle it. We don't throw that glass or plastic away. We recycle it. But I said, hey, this is tall enough and everything. Yeah, I'll use this for this, and it works out perfectly, actually. And then I've just got some 14 gauge electrical wire that I've kind of wrapped up here, and I've got some. Actually, I have a C-clamp and a screwdriver that's holding the top of that up, and so I can, you know, have the bend in it, put a couple cars on it, suspend it, and then I just pick this up and do that. That way, I'm not wasteful with my stripper, and you know, it's kind of a nice way to do that. And then I'll take my, you know, my pliers here. I probably need to get a little oil and lubricate in here. I got some rust that builds up in there. And then I just kind of grab them one at a time. Again, you don't want to touch that stripper. Whoa! Done that before. Not fun. It's a delayed effect, okay? You know, it depends on how much you get on you. But it's a delayed effect. You get just a little bit on you. You may not know, and that's typically what happens with me, right? I might like run my knuckle over across. Actually, I just did. Run my knuckle over across it or something like that, and I won't know it. And then you'll start, the slow burn will start happening, and it's like you know. So sure, yeah, I should probably wear gloves when I do this, but you know, whatever. If you're careful, you don't need to take that level of caution, I guess, with this. And I just kind of take my X-Acto knife and ever so slightly, you know, scrape that stuff off. Typically it comes off pretty easily. I'm trying to think how long I've had this sitting there. Let's see. I probably had this sitting there for close to an hour and a half. And I just have this box here, right, where I kind of scrape this stuff into. In my frugal ways, and I do think I'm very frugal, to be honest with you. I try to be as frugal as possible with this hobby. I don't like waste. I try to conserve as much as possible. But so I have this box here that's actually sitting on top of a trash can. But I have this box here, and what I have is I have this Walmart bag that I set in the bottom of the box, and so I scrape this stuff, you know, into the box, but it's really going on the bag. And then once I get it high enough, there's enough crap in there, you know, I just carefully lift the box or the bag out of the box with all the stuff that sits on it, and I'll throw that away and put another bag down and keep going. So I try to be as, I don't know, I guess as frugal as I can, and as try not to make as much of a mess as I possibly can on this stuff. And every once in a while I'll take my knife, when this gets big enough, I'll take my knife and I'll just cut along here. Oh, I'll just go ahead and do it. So yes, I'll just kind of cut this stuff off. It's been kind of built up over here. Just like that. And then that just falls into the trash, and there you go. That's the fun thing about his hobby, you know. You kind of just do it what works for you. You know, everybody's setup is different. You may be working in a garage. You may need to have like a air conditioner or a heater if you're working in a garage. Depends on your climate. And you know, you just do what works for you. You know, some people are saying, hey, you know, I was actually met up with Mr. WH and hand delivered his cars, or actually he came down and picked up his cars and paid me cash for the cars that he got. And so it was nice. It was nice meeting you, Mr. W.H. And he's thinking of embarking on his journey of making these cars and himself. And so I've been giving him some pointers and some tips, and hope these videos have been helpful to him. But he was talking about, it's not using the stripper, but using like a Dremel tool of sorts. Hey, that if that is something that you can make work and have it turn out well, then that's great. Run with it, but find your, find what works for you. As I've said, my goal is to try to make the best that I can, and this is what has worked for me. You may find something else that works, for you, and makes terrific die casts, and it's different process than what I use. That's fine, that's great. So there are more than one ways to skin a cat, which I'm not really sure where that phrase came from, because I really like cats, and I'm not sure why that is the way it's used. There's probably other ways to say that same phrase, but okay. So that's kind of what I do, and then I take it over to the sink, and I just clean it off. I have like an old toothbrush over there, and a little bit of soap, and I'll clean it over in my utility sink. So, all right, I tell you what, I'm going to set this right here. I want to show you guys, I finished my fan, and I meant to show you in the other video, and I forgot, and I'm remembering now to do that. So let me show you guys my exhaust fan that I put in, and maybe it's TMI, I don't know. But so here's my switch. I found a little plate cover that we had before. Be thankful for small blessings, and so that's my switch there. I ran the electrical wire up here, and let me back up here and turn this light on. But there's my fan. So we have a bathroom on our first level, and the exhaust fan in there, kind of ran this way and out. So install the fan there, and put a basically like a Y that the exhaust fan comes into. That's a 4-inch pipe, and 4-inch outlet of that's a 3-inch flexible duct, and then I just put that there and use a zip tie there, some duct tape around. It doesn't have to be 100% thorough, but I've painted down here with the chrome, turned the fan on, and I went upstairs into the bathroom to see if I'm getting any exhaust gas or fumes going back that way when this is on and that other fan is not, and it's not the case. So that is working out good, and it launches it out there, which goes outside. So yeah, it works for me. Wife is relatively happy with that, and so yeah, that's what's going on for me. All right, guys, God bless. Talk to you soon.